Paul uses in his testimony Ananias as an example. He says, Ananias came to me where I was in Damascus. Ananias is showing profound obedience and courage in response to God's call to his life, to let God use him as an agent of healing and commissioning. It's a model we all should follow. Ananias was initially hesitant when he received God's call. Why? Because God was asking him to go to talk to Saul, who was known for killing people who believed in Jesus. God said, hey, go tell him about Jesus. Ananias is like, wait a minute, not sure I want to really do that. But Ananias did it, and it showed his faith and his devotion. Not only that, look at what happened because of his faith and devotion. He shows up with Saul. He doesn't shy away from his mission. He places his hands on Saul. He restores his sight. He initiates him into the Christian community through baptism. His actions symbolize the physical healing and the spiritual restoration and the spiritual renewal that can come from God. Through his obedience, Ananias became a conduit for God's grace and was part of the transformation of Saul's life into Paul. Ananias' example should challenge us to consider our role as instruments of God's healing and encouragement in the lives of other people. We may encounter situations where God calls us to minister to individuals who seem like unlikely candidates for God's grace. It might require us to step out of our comfort zone, overcome our hesitations. The question is, are we willing to follow God's leading, obey God's commands, even if it seems daunting and uncomfortable? Ananias' actions highlights the importance of offering support and encouragement to those who are in need. I want to invite you to take a second and think about some people in your life who might be in need of some encouragement or some support. Maybe it's a friend who's struggling with doubt. Maybe it's a neighbor who is in the midst of a difficult situation. Maybe it's a stranger that's in need of compassion. Are we attentive to the promptings of the Holy Spirit to reach out as a source of healing and comfort to others? Ananias' obedience demonstrates that God can work through everyday, ordinary people. He wasn't a pastor. He was just a regular guy. But God can use regular people to accomplish his purpose. Are we open to being vessels to bring God's grace and healing to other people? By offering our time and our resources and our support, we can be instruments of God's healing and transformation in the lives of those around us. Ananias' example should also challenge us to obedience and to courage and to compassion in our interaction with others, even if it requires us to step out of our comfort zone. Much like Ananias and Paul, each of us has a purpose given to us by God. We're chosen to understand God's will. We're chosen to see Jesus in our lives. We're chosen to listen to his teachings. Paul's story is a powerful example of how Jesus can transform lives. He was killing Christians and became the greatest person to tell people about Jesus to ever live. Paul's life was radically changed. In the story of Acts 22, we should be challenged to think about our own journey. Have we encountered Jesus personally? Are we listening to his voice? Are we following his guidance? Are we living out the purpose that God has for us? As we go out from this place today, may we be inspired by the testimony of Paul and Ananias. May we be ready to share our own stories of transformation with others. Remember, this isn't the story of what happened to Paul. This is Paul telling his story to others to encourage them about how God changed his plans. Remember, Jesus' love is powerful. His call is personal and unique to every single one of us. But his mission is for all of us. Are we ready to live into God changing our plans?